I had about a year and a half of bad first dates, I think it was.
I don't know if I could say it was bad, it was just really weird.
Even dating when you know the person or isn't a blind date already feels like an awful job interview.
I had a thing for guys with motorbikes.
He really liked Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He was one of those dudes that was like really aloof and I'm super cool.
I think he cracked 2 raw eggs into a glass and shot them back, and then opened an old Milwaukee pinup girl can and chugged that, and then we went on our date.
Actually, she was really sexy, like her body, but I wasn't interested in her head at all, like her brain or anything. There's just nothing there, you know what I mean?
Oh, it was weird. He had like all these like red flags, and he would say, "Oh, red flag, red flag." I was like, oh.
I was like a foot taller than him, like a foot, and it didn't help that I was wearing heels.
He was not really a microbiologist, he worked at a slaughterhouse. He starts asking all my friends if they've got any blow.
Halfway through my meal, he finished his, reached across the table, picked up my plate, and put his dirty plate underneath my plate.
Once disclosed to me how he had fallen madly in love with me, and we had met twice. So
And before we started eating, he was like, "Just so you know, I set up my massage table upstairs."
At one point he pulls me and is like, "Oh, why can't we just go?" And I'm like, "Are you sure you want to know?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's totally cool, whatever." I'm like, "Okay, I have a tampon in."
needless to say, we didn't go on another date. But yeah, I've tried to do.
And I took his dirty ass cat and I stuck it in my face and I rubbed my face with his cat and then I put it down and then I just totally broke out. My eyes got all gross and I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm having a reaction."
And then he fell asleep and I left. And that was not the time I lost my virginity.
And then he told me that my sense of humor, I take things too far and I don't know when to stop and I say extremely inappropriate things and I'm embarrassing.
He's in the tub with his pants around his ankles and the tub's not full or anything, he's still alive. Sometimes you can't get the smell of testicles off your hands for more than 2 days, no matter what soap you use.
I think everyone experiences that one really devastating breakup, and so this was probably mine, I hope. I'm the only one. You know, like you can't eat when you're that heartbroken unless it's wine.
When I broke up with my last boyfriend, we were living together and we were like, oh, we're still sort of friends. This isn't going to be horrible. Let's just keep living together for a little while. Obviously, that was a terrible idea. So sometimes he'd be like in the shower or sleeping and you'd get text messages and I would read them and they'd be from girls and I would delete them. Right? I think everyone's going to just think I'm just the nicest girl. And I found out later that he woke up in the morning, tripped over the coffee maker, landed on his face, got really mad, and then smashed it with a hammer.
So in this massive box, she put a sweater, a book, a toothbrush, and this little thin piece of soap that I used a special soap at the time, and so she like let me leave soap at her house, and so I just took my cat and my scratching post and my vacuum and moved out.
My friends kind of didn't realize it was his car, so they just thought I was losing my shit on this random car. And the umbrella broke in half, but nothing really happened to the car, and I just looked crazy.
He demanded that I pull over, and he got out and just ran. And I was like, I guess that's all that problem. I just kept driving.
Even though I am a woman, women are crazy. I mean, they really are fucking crazy, right?
So you shouldn't ask, do you really want to date me when you're feeling dramatic? Because sometimes the answer is no. You expect them to be like, yeah, I do. You're so great.
It's like the crazier they are, it's like they think I'm gonna get back together with them.
Maybe I'm jaded, but I think maybe just having lovers for the rest of your life is the way to go.
That's the price of admission to find people that are really worth it. And then you meet somebody who's just fucking cool, who you really genuinely like. That's the key.
Does it get better? It gets better.
It's gotta, right? Does it?
You realize that what you had before wasn't as great as you thought it was.
It gets better. It gets better, exclamation mark.
It gets better. It definitely gets better.
It gets better. It gets way better, but you have to manage your expectations.
You learn how to choose better potential mates for yourself. And I find I just don't waste my time with the other ones because my time is too valuable. What?
All of those things are kind of fun. And it does get better. It's never really all that bad.